Kia ora, good morning. I just wanted to make this video. I just woke up a little while ago and I've just documented a dream on X. I'll put a link in the description box below because I don't want to have to go over it again. I have to document them while I'm in the moment so I can remember everything with clarity. But I'll often forget once I've documented them, because it happens when you're in the frequency, but then I wait for words to trigger. I don't think I'm going to forget this one though, but I'll put links in the description box because that's not what this video is about. So I've designed my gaming chair. I've been working on my gaming chair for years, probably 7-8 years. I was slowly working on a design for my gaming chair, and it all started because when my boy Thomas was little, we got him a really cool gaming chair from a car boot, and it had like sounds and all of that, but he used to sit on it, and then I think eventually my wee boy used to sit on it in his little gaming corner in our old house. But I used to look at it and think, like, what could I, like, if I was going to have a gaming chair, what would I do with it? And because I'm one of these people, it's like, if I'm going into competition with people, I want to stand out above the competition. I want to be a little bit different. So even with everything I've invented, created, designed, it's just like everybody else. There's other versions of it out there. I've done them in a way that even though there might be other options like it out there, mine's going to stand out above everybody else. And how I do that is I infuse biorhythmics into it, or I bring the supernatural or the occult into it, or everybody does, like sugarless cakes and cookies and that, but they don't do them so that you'll lose weight and heal your body, like it's medicinal diet food, but it's not really diet food, it's just eating healthier. But I cook it in a way that has medical benefits for your body. And I know this because, like, I used to be nearly 30 stone. And, I'm going to say this, it's a little bit personal, but I finally had a bit of spare money the other day to get myself some new bras and underwear for the first time in years. I was actually able to spare a couple of quid, like 20 something quid, and get myself some new bras and underwear for the first time in years. And I bought a pair in a size 16 and I bought a pair in a 12 to 14, and both of them are too big. Whereas before I used to be in a size 28 to 30, now with things like underwear, a 12 to 14 is too big. Not too big, but whereas before they might have been a little bit snug, they're not now. And the size 16 are now. So, but I have to buy them a little bit bigger to protect my scars, because after I was, with my hernia repairs, and after I was tortured, my stomach is very tender and sensitive now, so I have to be careful what I have around my abdomen. So anything too tight, it hurts the scars, and then, hurts my abdomen from being tortured. But anyway, but I eat all the food that I want to promote, and my friends and family, and they eat all the food that I want to promote. And I know it works, because anything that I create that I get my friends and family to test, I use them as guinea pigs. I've never hidden the fact that they are my test subjects. because I'm not going to put my name to anything that doesn't work, because, you know, reputation is everything, right? So, and you have to excuse me because I may stop a few times to make another coffee, and because I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm trying to push through the pain. It's too hot still to be using hot water bottles to put on my stomach. Um, so I'm just, you know, and I don't have a bath. I was put in a place with a wet room because of my back and my stomach issues, so that I can sit on a chair in the shower and, you know, just so I don't have a bath. They really did everything they could to accommodate my back and my stomach issues when they put me in here, and I'm really appreciative of it. But I need a bath to help my stomach, because having the hot water over my stomach actually helps more than sitting in a shower. But anyway, so I had this dream, and it's got me thinking about my gaming chair, the M.I.N.A system, the modular interlocking network archetype. And I think I finally realised what it is that I've invented. And I don't know whether King Charles is going to get involved, whether he invests in it, or whether we work with him, because remember the Council of Elders had said that it was to be Great Britain and Russia. I was to offer Great Britain and Russia the chance to work on this program with me. I don't know, but what I do know is that I finally get it. I finally understand. Remember, I did those drawings. Remember, I did that video saying to NASA, "Is this for you?" And I'm thinking, did I design a rocket ship? Did I design a telephone? Because I knew my teacher, you know, had been working on the God phone with those scientists from Caltech back in the 80s. And it was with the promise of when one of the scientists died of cancer, he said, if there really is heaven, if there really is life after death, I'll find a way to contact you through the God phone. And then my teacher had always said that I would take it the rest of the way, and that I would marry religion and science, and it would be taught in schools and blah blah blah. So then I had the visions of the designs, I had those dreams, everything. I mean, you know my journey. It might not say I have followers and viewers and views and likes and all that, but it's only because I'm shadow banned. And every now and then there's a glitch and I get to see the real numbers. So I know there's a lot of you watching out there that don't know. I know you're all out there, but I know you're all out there. That's why, even though it'll say I haven't had views, even though it'll say community notes, but never the likes and the shares and the retweets and all that sort of thing, I know you're out there. It might say I only have 5 views, but every now and then it'll glitch and say it's 220,000. So I know you're all out there, which is why I keep pushing through. And now I understand why. And this dream that I had has now just put everything into pitch perfect clarity. I thought I was designing a rocket ship. I thought I was designing a telephone. I couldn't, because I'm only allowed to unlock what I'm allowed to unlock. Every time I'm a good girl and please the Council of Elders and God and the ancestors and that, you know, they give me what I call a Scooby snack. Good girl, you figured another bit out. Here's another piece to the puzzle. Well, now I've figured out the piece to the puzzle. I've got my gaming chair. This gaming chair, when it's on the market, you'll be able to buy it like Lego. You'll be able to buy, you know, individual pieces depending on your budget. But if you put it all together, you're basically going to build the M.I.N.A system. But when I first build the M.I.N.A system, in correlation to my space shuttle, which is Red Lil, my navigator, it's not like anything that SpaceX or NASA do. It's not that crude and archaic. It's very modern. It is environmentally friendly. It's friendly on the planet. It is nothing like that fuel guzzling, planet destroying, um, AI infected, mind numbing, earth destroying crap that SpaceX and NASA are designing. This is, I want to be able to get it to the point where we will be able to fit people inside of it and take them up to see the horizons and see the stratosphere and all of that, go into orbit and that, where they get to meet God in the Council of Elders eye to eye. But in the meantime, we'll have what I'm creating. And I would like to start out, before it goes out onto the market, when I build my foundation, I would like to invite people to pay. Obviously, we'll have to test it out first, but until I know that it's safe and all of that, I want to invite people to pay to come and use my M.I.N.A system. Terminally ill people, like veterans, especially the ones suffering from PTSD, who are carrying like survivor's guilt and, the harbouring the trauma of war. Because I worked with a lot of veterans in the past, as you know, because I've worked with a lot of serving soldiers, and that a lot of them, their PTSD comes from not just from the noises and the bloodshed and the psychological traumas of war, but a lot of them suffered from survivor's guilt as well, because they saw all their brothers in arms and their comrades and all these civilians and stuff getting blown up, especially if they were injured and survived, and they suffer from survivor's guilt, or they carry the guilt of knowing that they took lives. And it's hard for the human mind to comprehend why it was okay for the governments to put guns in their hands and force them to kill innocent people on the other side of the battlefield, who, under normal circumstances, sorry, I'm having trouble speaking because I'm in pain, but I've got to get this out. I'm pushing through, I've got to push past the pain. Who, under normal circumstances, would be sitting in a pub having a beer together, but because one country's leader has a problem with the other country's leader, and they have these clashes because of money and greed and stupidity and all that sort of thing, they're out there killing each other, and it leaves a psychological effect on these veterans and these soldiers, and that when they come back, which is why I'm so supportive of Vladimir Putin, because not only was he forced to have to defend himself and the people of Russia and, Russian Ukrainians and all that sort of thing, and protecting children and stuff, you don't see any Western world leaders with the same love and respect and admiration for their veterans and their serving military personnel like he does. He has, it's personal for him, and it's probably because, of his military background, because of his father's military background, and that, like me, being an army brat, like me, the military is part of his genetic thread. So when you're brought up around the military, you have a respect for the military that people like Keir Starmer and Donald Trump and that wouldn't have a clue about. I know more about handling the military and defence and war strategies and that more than Starmer ever, or Trump, because of my father. 34 years in the New Zealand Royal Engineers, proudly serving Queen Elizabeth. He would have gladly gone to war and died for that woman. He just worshipped the ground she walked on. He was so proud of serving that woman. And when I was a little girl, and Prince Charles and that came to Palmerston North, my dad, I was like 4, and I remember it as clear as a bell because of the cavalcade that went past. My dad got to be one of the people in the army to make sure that Prince Charles was safe while he was travelling through Palmerston North. I can't remember if the Queen was there, but I know Prince Charles was. And I was about 4, so you're talking about 1976, roundabout. He came to New Zealand, and my dad was one of the people to make sure that he got in and out of Palmerston North because of Linton Military Base, Linton Army Base being, just off the Manawatu. And I was so proud, and then I got taken to the dentist to have my teeth taken out, because when my teeth grew through, they grew through rotten because my mum had cancer when she was pregnant with me, and I depleted her calcium, and I was born with depleted calcium as well, which is why I have spinal diseases, which is why I'm here in this flat with medical courts and a wet room instead of a bath and stuff, because they were accommodating for the fact that when my back goes out, sometimes it's bad enough that I can't walk. Luckily, since I lost weight and started eating healthy with my food that I want to sell, I've not had any problems with my back since. It's very, very rare that my back goes out now, but this is just in case, because when it does go out, I can't walk from the waist down. I've got a tiny little bit of my spinal cord is trapped between my L4 and L5 of my lower vertebrae, and if that pinches and goes out, I'll be crippled, I'll be paralysed. I won't be able to move from the waist down. And I'm allergic to every kind of medication there is now on the planet other than antihistamines. So I have to be very, very careful with my health, because I can't afford to go into hospital, because if I get infections or anything like that, there's nothing they can give me to treat me. No pain relief, no nothing. I'm allergic to it all, because since I lost weight and purified my body is pure. Energetically, physically, on a cellular level, it's all virginal and pure. But it has to be that way in order to reach the creation frequency. And if you can't reach the creation frequency through Ascension, there's another way to do it, and that's through the M.I.N.A system. And when you sit in the creation frequency, you are sitting in the mind of God, the mind of all creation. And if you can't reach the creation frequency because you're psychologically or physically incapable, the M.I.N.A system is going to allow you to do that. We're going to take you up there, and I'm going to offer people to come, people suffering from PTSD, and even, people suffering from like crippling mental health issues, the suicidal people and the self-harmers, and terminally ill people, people with disabilities, the elderly, the ones left asking questions: why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Am I being punished? Am I going to be punished when I die? Am I going to get into trouble when I die? That sort of thing. We're going to be able to put them in the chair and give them that experience where they'll get to go up and actually meet God. They'll be sitting in the frequency and they'll get to meet God. But I'll be hooked up to a microphone, so I'll be able to talk them through their experience, because I'm there all the time. I mean, I live there rent free. I've got a key to the kingdom. I'm the gatekeeper, so you can't get up there without me. So yeah. In this dream, King Charles was handed the key, and when he got the key, it was like, it's like he was touched by God. It's the only way I can describe it. I don't know, most of you will be too young to remember this, but there was a TV show back in the day called Touched by an Angel. And when she used to give her message from God, she'd turn all glowy and people would see her and be like, oh, sort of thing. And they knew in that moment they'd been touched by God because they'd been touched by his angel. It was like that. It's like he'd been touched by an angel and saw God. In that moment, he'd been touched by God. And then when he was touched by God, the whole of Great Britain was touched by God. Whatever it was that King Charles felt and experienced when Vladimir gave him that key, the whole of Great Britain then felt. So I can only assume that King Charles gets on board with my space program, which I want to name after his mother, Red Lil, because that was her code name. Lady in Red, code name Lady in Red. I was code name code name Golden Dragon. She was Lady in Red because of the red crayon from the dream. It's a personal thing, don't worry. But I said I wanted to call my shuttle Red Lil. And I'm hoping that I can get the royal seal of approval on the side of the shuttle. And it's just going to be probably the size of, maybe smaller than a Yaris to start off with. But eventually, when it's trustworthy, it's fuelless, there's no, it's environmentally friendly. We're not taking anything from the planet other than water and electricity and, all of that. For half the cost of anything that SpaceX and NASA are doing, for a fraction of the cost, to be honest, and then get it safe enough where eventually we'll be able to actually let people sit inside them and take them up, like a taxi, but where it can go above orbit, and then they'll be able to meet God. And then, if I do a good enough job, those from the Council of Elders who are in the new universe will come through the wormholes and come and say hi. And then we'll get to meet the real ones. The real ones, not the ones that they keep trying to push down here with Project Bluebeam and Area 51 and what's hiding under Antarctica and all that. It's all bollocks. It's all part of keep them guessing, feed the conspiracies, blah, blah, blah. I have access to the real ones, and they're waiting to meet us. They're waiting because then once we forge that relationship with them, with space being the final frontier, then they're going to let us in on their secrets, and then we will be able to leave and go and join them, travel through the wormholes and stuff. But first you have to free your mind and clear your heart and mend your soul. And the M.I.N.A system's going to allow people to do that. Why Vladimir Putin was in the dream, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He could just be symbolic of the space program, because the Council of Elders said offer it to Great Britain and Russia first. And he was in the dream, and we were in this ball. I was in a ball gown, and he was in like a, not quite a tuxedo, but really nice suit. And that it was a red carpet thing. We were at number 10 Downing Street, and the King was there, and we were having this big celebration. And he was having a conversation with the King, and then we were walking down the street, and he handed the King this key. So I don't know. I mean, he could be representative of the fact that maybe I'm going to work with, Russian engineers. I don't know. Because he's never shown any interest in, like, it, he doesn't pay attention to me or anything, like it's not. So I don't know. I can only assume that it's to do with, maybe I'm going to work with Russian cosmonauts or Russian engineers, or I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know why King Charles. He's probably just representative of The fact that I want to call the space program after his mother, I genuinely don't know. But I do know, well, I mean, okay, technically, Vladimir Putin is probably because of the M.I.N.A. That was the name of his teacher. I named it after his teacher. Her name was M.I.N.A. Modular, and it was kind of completely by accident. The teacher, because modular interlocking network archetype, and when you know the design of it, the name of it will make perfect sense. But that's more than likely why he was in the dream. He was representative of, like, it was just symbolic of the fact that my dream was saying this dream is about your gaming chair and space program, not that it was about me and him working together or anything like that. Because once I started typing out the dream, I started realising what it was talking about. And I did name the chair after his teacher, sort of accidentally on purpose. When I realised I'd spelled out M.I.N, I thought, what can I do to make it A so that it's M.I.N.A? Because I was like, I gave it so many names, I said to my sons. And then I came up with modular interlocking network archetype. And it just fit perfectly for the design of what it is that I had created. And then I got that email from quote unquote China wanting to get involved with the council and my space program. I said I couldn't make sense as to whether they were wanting access to quantum magnetics or the Council of Elders or my space program, but I said no, and to be honest, it looked like an AI generated email and it just had Elon Musk written all over it. So yeah, so he just thought, well, I'm just going to put more explosions under the bottom of my rocket, and mine doesn't even have combustible anything in it. And France has already invented an engine that has no moving parts and runs on plasma. So SpaceX and NASA, they're outdated, and they also have to lie about their achievements. And we've got something on Mars and blah 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 when it's not true. Whereas I'll be allowed real access. We'll be allowed to go as far as we want to go, as far as navigation is concerned, depending on how good I am. Because every time I'm a good girl and I please the gods and the elders, I get a Scooby snack, which means they let me unlock a little bit more. But I know that whoever it is that I work with, whose name is David, he helps take what it is that I'm creating and he puts it into the physical, brings it into physical reality. And I know his name's David because when I had the dream about him, he made sure of pointing out his name badge, as like he was saying, don't forget my name. So when I interview all these people, because it's not like I'm going to let anyone come along and say, right, this is what we're going to do, and this is this guy, and this is this guy, and we're going to do this. I literally have to approve every single person that works with me from the top to the bottom. Nobody's allowed to get anywhere near what it is that I create, especially with the stuff that's going to be worth billions and billions and billions of money. They're not allowed to come near anything without going through me. I can't have a guy turn up with a team of 15 people and then say, right, this is what we do. That guy and those 15 people won't turn up until they talk to me first. They have to be approved. They have to get the seal of approval. They have to be people that I can trust. Because my intention is to heal souls, heal broken souls, and prepare people for the afterlife, whether they die the next day or 50 years' time. I prepare people for the afterlife. I prepare people for meeting God. and I'm introducing people to who God is now as we speak. So when I build my M.I.N.A system, you'll know him for real. And then I'll be there talking on the microphone, talking through the headset. You go through so many emotions. I can promise you, you go through so many emotions when you realise that it's all real and it's so much bigger than your brain can handle, and you realise how small you are on this planet and how insignificant your life is, and how we waste too much time worrying about the things we can't control. And I'll also be able to answer their questions, like, when they get emotional and they cry and they grieve, if they have questions and that sort of thing. Why did he have to die? Why was I put through, that sort of thing. I'll be able to answer for them. As they're meeting God, I will be able to answer for them on behalf of God until he's ready to take over. And then it'll be between him and them, which is what he talks about in the book of Revelation. He wants it between him and them, no middleman. I mean, technically we'll be the middleman, but you know what I mean, we're not going to be. And when they come back down, they'll know what it was all about. They'll understand what what karma had to play out, what karma has to be paid off, that sort of thing. And so I don't know whether King Charles is going to be one of the first to try the chair with his cancer, with losing his ex-wife, his mum's death, his father's death, all of it, So I don't know whether he's going to be a part of the program, or whether I'm going to let him be one of the first to try the chair. I don't know, but time will tell. But it's very interesting. So then, once I know that people aren't going to come down from it and be worse than when they went up psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, that sort of thing, then I will put the chair on the market and let everyday people have the exact same experience. But if you put the whole system together, it's going to absolutely revolutionise gaming and home entertainment and movie making and all that, like forever and ever. So yeah, so I just wanted to put it out there. I will put links in the description box below to the dream that I had. Put a link, not links plural, there's one link, and you can see the dream, and then you'll know what I was talking about. But I think it's why the veteran whispered in my ear, don't worry, you'll get used to it going up, because like, I'm scared of flying, I'm scared of heights. And if I've got to try out the chair and stuff, it's going to freak me out. But he was also a veteran in a wheelchair, so he's the exact person that I would be looking for to say, well, do you want to go up? And like I said, I think Vladimir is just representative of the fact that he's symbolic of the chair itself, because it's named accidentally on purpose after his teacher, M.I.N.A. So, and he loved his teacher. She was like a mother to him. And that's what I am. I'm trying to be mother. I mother people. I might have to. My soul collector side might be scary, but I'm only scary if you're a sinner and you've done something wrong and you're on the list. If you're not on the list, I don't have a problem with you. Otherwise, the other side of me is my black moon side, is my bounty hunter soul collector side. But my star sign, my sun sign Scorpio, is, birth and death and occult and resurrection, regeneration, that sort of thing. It's all about, the nurturing of I'm a water sign, so, and I'm the deepest water sign. Nobody feels deeper as a water sign than Scorpio, because our emotions go all the way to the underworld. We are the emotions of birth and death, and that comes before um, intuitive, psychic, Pisces, and empathic, nurturing Cancer. We go there. Scorpios aren't afraid to go there. You know, we hit hard, we hit deep, and we crack open layers of your psychological mind that the other two absolutely can't reach. Death and birth, even though they say Pisces is the oldest um, star sign, it's only because Pisces was the first constellation that was discovered. Um, but death and birth came before intuition, which is what Pisces rule. Intuition and the psychic and all of that. So, and Cancer rule empathy and, you know, nurturing and all those yummy sides of being a water sign. But Scorpio, we go right there. We're not afraid to go there. So, yeah, we're the deepest. We're the deepest water sign because we go all the way. We're not afraid to go down there and get into the crux and the nitsy gritty, as Pearl would say, of human emotion and human psychology and all of that. We force you to look at the things you don't want to look at, whereas the other two, not so much, unless they're in the reverse, unless they're in the opposite side, you know, the negative side. So yeah. So I think I've been shown the way, and I need to build my foundation, because the foundation's going to have my space program in it, and the kids that join my space program, I'm calling them my North Star cadets. When I'm dead and buried, these kids will take over and, you know, push it further than what I was able to take it. And my daughter Roisin, I'm pretty sure she's going to have something to do with, because she's going to be the ninth element, and she's going to be the one that has access to all of that even I don't have access to. I think she's going to be a part of the space program, I think, along with whoever the second coming is, the one who, you know, governs the new world. And the new world technically is going to include the final frontier. Space, the final frontier. The new world is the world that's going to have access to the final frontier, where eventually we'll be able to see the new creation of the new universe, where the real ones that they call aliens are. They're anywhere near here. They're building the new universe. They're just waiting for us to catch up. And I think Roisin and the second coming have got something to do with that. I think she's going to be like an oracle or messenger for the second coming, and together they're going to take us through the final frontier, be the pilgrims to the new universe which has been created. And scientists, we already know it's been created. This one's dying out and the new one's being born, and the only way you can access the new one is by going through the wormholes. And the only way you can access the wormholes is through your mind. You have to open it up with your mind. And the only way you can open it up with your mind is if you are running on the highest, purest vibration, which you can't do if you're having wars with people and kidnapping children to sacrifice them and eat their organs and stuff. So the old world is getting left behind and the new one is being birthed. And that's all what this was about, that dream. So I'll put links in the description box below, but it's all very exciting. So I'm being told, I think, to get ready, because I'm about to get my foundation and my space program, and we're all about to all systems go, so to speak. It's very exciting. And yeah, If you look at it from a symbolic level, where the king is symbolic of Red Lil, named after Queen Elizabeth, and Vladimir is symbolic of M.I.N.A, I do it all on my own. Not bad for a girl, an uneducated indigenous girl that they tried to kill because they said that I didn't make sense and I must be nuts. And then I've created all of this. And the good thing is, once my chair's out there, nobody will need mental health support. Nobody will need medication anymore. Mental health stuff will virtually vanish. It's bogus anyway. It's bullshit anyway. It's basically just to peddle drugs and have control over people. There are a lot of people out there that are only too happy to let the government tell them who they are and what to think and what to feel, and they line up happily to get their medication because it means they don't have to take responsibility for their actions or to heal their childhood wounding and that. You know, too lazy to fix themselves, so they let other people do it for them. Well, what I'm creating is for the people who actually want to heal and don't want to suffer anymore. And when that happens, I think you're going to see mental health virtually disappear. People won't need it, especially if it's here in Great Britain. Mental health services and that will vanish. Medications and that, the pharmaceutical industry will have nothing to push onto people, because you'll go up in my chair, you'll experience the frequency in my chair, and then you'll finally get it, and I'll be able to explain everything for you, so you'll get all the answers while you're up there, and then come back down healed. So I'm going to need a lot of test subjects. So yeah, so let's see what happens after this, eh? Hopefully I get to help Great Britain build their first proper real space program. King Charles has to get rid of Starmer's government and walk away from the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and the EU. But he'll make a lot of money, a lot more money than he ever would now. The British pound is almost worthless. The British economy's been destroyed, and the stuff that I'm creating is worth billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. And then I will earn my blue plaque on this flat. Because then it'll say physicist Debbie Callahan, physicist, what is it? Am I creator, developer, discoverer of quantum magnetics and the M.I.N.A system space program? That'd be awesome to have on the blue. A physicist and rocket scientist. Oh my god, that would be the ultimate two fingers up to the people that said I was nuts and tried to kill me for it. So anyway, I'm going to go and have another coffee. I'm sleeping a lot, so I'm only kind of poking my head up when I have enough strength and energy to do stuff, because it's taking me all my strength at the moment just to get up and do what little cooking I can and, you know, keep myself organised. So, okay, so I'm going to go. So have a beautiful day. Hold your head up high and know you are loved. And just hang in there, Great Britain, because I promise you it's nearly over. I'm enticing King Charles to come into the light. I keep saying to him, jump, Your Majesty, jump, get out of the darkness and into the light. And when he does that, I'm going to take him to the stars. I'm gonna fly him to the moon and let him play amongst the stars. But he has to jump. He has to make that call. And I'm just praying and praying and praying that he does. So just wait, world, because I'm almost there. I'm almost at you. And once I've got you, I'll sort you out good and proper. You won't even know yourself when you come back down. So I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.